Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to the last Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge Hiatus video. Oh, I have been waiting for this. These hiatuses seem to get longer every time. After 147 days, Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge finally returns to Nickelodeon this Saturday. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to the last Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge Hiatus video. I have been waiting for this. These hiatuses seem to get longer every year. After 147 days, Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge finally returns to Nickelodeon this Saturday. So the list of firsts for this channel is actually pretty small, but this video is another one. I didn't make videos during the Super Mega Force hiatus because I was actually considering whether I'd keep making videos at all. Obviously, I decided to go forward. I can't remember if I wanted to do a Dino Charge recap video, but I do know that the premiere date coming out of the hiatus got moved up, so the final video there was just a top 10 video. But when a show has been gone for 5 months, nearly half a year, we need to take some time to refamiliarize ourselves with the story before getting back in with episode 9 next week. So, that's what we're doing today. In the finale of the SuperCharge Hiatus videos, we take a look back at the story thus far. The story begins with When Evil Stirs, with the Rangers back in their normal lives after the supposed defeat of Sledge. On the villain's ship, a new villain has taken over. His name is Heckle, and he was in solitary confinement in the previous season. He also has an alternate form / personality, Snide, that can take over now and then. Snide wants to rule with an iron fist, but Heckle wants to kill him with kindness. Except that he's being kind of literal about that. Anyway, he gets himself hired as a waiter at the cafe. Shelby, Chase, Riley, and Tyler get attacked by an unseen monster, and the others go searching for them. It turns out the monster is Ice Age. Again. This gives Kota some PTSD because he was originally found frozen in ice, but Tyler convinces him to risk getting frozen as part of a plan to get taken to the other Rangers and the monster. They free the other Rangers with the Dino Blaze Charger and manage to defeat Ice Age, hopefully once and for all this time, with the Plesio Charge Megazord Pack-a-Rex formation. I gave this episode a score of 4.5 out of 5 because while I thought it was a great start, the core of the episode and Tyler's plan is the Rangers' ability to apparently just jump back out of their suits, which I don't buy. The second episode is a Riley focus called Forgive and Forget that seems to forgive Riley for wanting more spotlight and forget to have much of a plot besides that. Riley is jealous of an old classmate's athletic ability. Heckle manages to get into the Rangers' base to steal the Energems, but they aren't there, so Snide takes over and just leaves without doing anything. The Rangers beat the monster, and the villains conveniently drink Forget Juice. Oh, and this episode also debuts Dino Super Drive by the Toys right now in the stores! I also scored this episode 4.5 out of 5. The next episode had kind of a goofy premise, but I actually liked it. In Nightmare in Amber Beach, Heckle sends Shelby a cursed pillow that traps her in a waking nightmare. The Rangers try to stay awake, with a funny montage, of course, and we meet Shelby's father, who gives us a fun Burgers for Profit demonstration. Oh, and Heckle gets busted in this episode as Shelby returns to the cafe early and sees Heckle taking the Energems. This video is actually revealing that I might have scored these episodes differently if I were reviewing them today. I have fonder memories of this episode than the previous two, but I actually scored it lower, giving it a score of 4 out of 5. This video is quickly revealing that I might score these episodes differently if I reviewed them today. I actually have fonder memories of this episode than the first two, but back then I scored it lower, only giving it a 4 out of 5. I feel the same way about episode 4 now as I did then, which is not great. A Date with Danger was a big character step back for Chase, who acts like a jerk and loses a girl to himself as the Black Ranger, then proceeds to use his powers for dating before he realizes that that's wrong. We're introduced to a new villain, Singe, but honestly at this point in the show we still don't know all that much about him. The Tyler and his dad story takes a small step forward as Tyler meets his father's friend, Rusty. However, Tyler does something monumentally stupid by handing the man his Energem when he has seen Heckle change forms before. I wasn't really fond of this episode, giving it a 3.5 out of 5. That was not the case with the next episode, though, as the story finally launches forward with Roar of the Red Ranger. It introduces the Battleizer T-Rex Supercharge mode, but in an interesting episode with a lot of good story in it. Heckle's forces manage to plant a virus on Kendall's computer, which gets into the T-Rex Supercharger and makes Tyler act like a T-Rex. Tyler ends up being rescued by his long-missing father, James, who years ago had found the Aqua Energem and became a Power Ranger, hunted by Fury and going into hiding to keep his son safe. This episode also introduced a little bit of much-needed conflict between Tyler and Shelby, as Tyler wanted to go on a dangerous search for his father, and Shelby didn't want him risking himself unnecessarily. This episode easily scored a 5 out of 5. Unfortunately, that quality did not follow through. Forged Under Fire has some good father-son elements for Tyler and James, and reveals the neatest aspect of the Battleizer, its ability to turn Tyler into a miniature version of the Megazord. However, it contains some pretty serious errors, such as Tyler instamorphing with the Dino Armor X Charger, and Rexy being in two places at once. This episode scored a 3 out of 5. Oh, Home Run Kota, the 7th episode. How much I wish that you had been better. Kota gets a hold of a monster's enchanted bat and is spotted by a scout. He's signed by the Amber Beach Earthquakes, and Riley rides his coattails to fame. As much as I wanted this episode to be good, Riley bears the burden of negative character traits again, and all the sports stuff is just kind of in the background, proven most by a couple of factual baseball errors in the episode. Home Run Kota only managed a score of 2 out of 5. Again, this video kind of tempts me to re-rank these episodes. Maybe that's something I'll do during the off-season. I don't really have time to do it right now. Because I ranked this episode higher than Home Run Kota, but I definitely like it less now. We led into the hiatus with an absolute thud of an episode called Riches and Rags. I will give it credit for being another Auxiliary Ranger Focus episode. However, it involves Ivan dropping his brain and confusing a 1,000-year-old artifact with a training dummy that he ordered. The dangling plot thread from Dino Charge of Spellbinder's pendant being saved by Sledge is absolutely wasted in this episode, as it's Heckle who uses it to create Spell Digger to try to make the Rangers greedy. I do like how Tyler and Chase, who worked well together, we don't often see them together, were both able to be impacted by the spell, but still be Rangers. The man who owned the artifact plots to take over the museum when Ivan can't pay for the damage, when there are various issues with that, and the plot wraps up too conveniently when Prince Philip basically pays Ivan his night wages. Episode 8 got a score of 2.5 out of 5. Only one episode of SuperCharge managed to outscore its weekly Dino Charge counterpart, as the second episode of Dino Charge, Past, Present, and Fusion got a 4, but the second episode of Dino SuperCharge, Forgive and Forget, got a 4.5. And while Dino Charge didn't see a dip down into the 2s and 3s until episode 12, SuperCharge saw a 3 in week 6 and a 2 the very next week. Overall, SuperCharge is a full point behind Dino Charge at this point in the season, averaging just a 3.625, as opposed to Dino Charge's 4.625 after 8 episodes. SuperCharge does have some room to rally, though, as Dino Charge hit a pretty bad stretch from about episode 12 through 17, so if the lesson has been learned, there's room to recover. Thinking about what I'd like to see in the rest of SuperCharge, I really just want the show to get away from this plot of the day stuff, especially this thing with abandoning character growth so it can saddle one of the Rangers with a negative character trait that they have to grow past at the end of the episode. Especially Riley. He has suffered enough, writers. I do realize that with 14 episodes left, there's plenty of time for more of that plot of the day stuff before we get to the big finish. But really, I would rather the show give us 12 episodes. The 2 holiday specials aren't going to do anything for the plot, we know that. Where there's some plot of the day and some ongoing plot, then another 5 or 6 episodes of meaningless anywhere in the storyline plot of the day stuff, and then a tails to the wall rush to the finish. We do have some idea of some of the things we can expect for the rest of the show. Recently, a trailer was released to advertise SuperCharge returning, and it kind of just out and out tells us some of the things we can look forward to. Keeper talks about a dark energem formed from pure evil. Gee, I sure hope that he'll be telling us more about that soon. We see another new Ranger, the Silver Ranger, and his Zord, the Titanozord. Also, Silver is seen fighting a dark red and black bird monster that some of you might be kind of familiar with. There's a new villain, a kind of cloaked monster that has multiple versions of those little faces on him. And the Rangers call for the Dino Charge Ultrazord, a new formation utilizing the Titanozord. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the hiatus is over! Next week on Orange Ranger Videos, Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge episode reviews are back. So, let's see if the show gets to more of that serious storytelling I was talking about with the 9th episode of SuperCharge. Besties Forever. Shelby's friend Aaron tries to steal credit from the Pink Ranger and quickly finds trouble. We may have a bit more of the same before SuperCharge starts getting better. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the hiatus. Now, I've told some of you guys in the comments that I will not apologize anymore for that big gap of no episodes after the 100th. However, with the hiatus wrapping up here, I can at least thank you guys one more time for sticking with me after that. It's only because you guys are here watching every week that the show has gotten past 100 episodes. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. In the comments below, why don't you guys let me know your favorite of the first 8 episodes of SuperCharge. And remember, if you've got it to spare, you can toss a little spare change my way by clicking that blue support button on my channel page. One more time, next week, episode reviews return. Until then, may the power protect you. I also gave this episode a score of 4.5 out of 5. The second episode is a Riley focus called Forgive and Forget. Forgive. Oh, and this episode also debuts to Dino Fart! This episode, title this episode, Oh, Home Run Kota, the 7th episode. How much I wish that you'd been better. Kota, Goku. It's over 9,000. Kota gets a hold of a monster's enchanted bat and oh boy, there we go. The man who owns the artifact tries to plot.